John Cena came out, and I'll make this really short and simple. John Cena came out, said that Big Show had inserted himself in the Money in the Bank match at the pay-per-view, which Big Show's been in a couple of Money in the Banks and hasn't won any, but now that he's punching everyone, he has a great shot of winning, I assume. So what was actually kind of interesting is that John Cena was inserting himself for the first time in the Money in the Bank match, but the only reason he did it is because he said, let's be serious, Big Show would beat either of the current champions. And Chris Jericho came out and said he should be in Money in the Bank, and then Vicky announced that John Cena was going to wrestle Chris Jericho later, and the winner of that match would be in Money in the Bank. Incredible burial promo by John Cena. The next segment was Diva Battle Royal. Vicky came out and interjected herself into the match. The women were in bikinis. AJ won. Kev, do you have any thoughts? Imagine you enjoyed seeing Vicky in her swimsuit. She wasn't in a bikini.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely, I loved it. Unfortunately, that was about the only thing about this match that I loved was Vicky doing the little striptease and eventually revealing herself. The swimsuit was very tasteful. I thought it looked absolutely great on her. And Vicky's role in this match I thought was very well done as well, although I don't know why she needed to be involved with the Battle Royal herself. When she was already doing the GM thing, that was enough. But, that said, her involvement in this Battle Royal was fine. The rest of this Battle Royal was the fucking drizzle shits. First of all, I always have a problem because with the Divas matches, and WWE's rule in a Divas Battle Royal is that you just have to fall through the ropes. And that's what about 3/4 of these chicks did. They weren't even thrown through the ropes. They literally just fell out of the ring. There's no effort in it at all. So, that's really lame, really shitty. They had the thing where Natalya tied up somebody or another, and Beth was going to try to hit her in the mouth. That person ducked and ended up sending Natalya through the ropes, and then Beth got sent through the ropes. I think it was AJ, actually. So it ended up being the last two was AJ and Vicky, and Vicky tried to throw AJ out, although she threw her out, seeing she did not land on the bottom, but she still turned around and celebrated anyway like she thought she did, so that was kind of a slight fail there. And then AJ gets back in, starts to beat Vicky's ass, and Vicky's like, fuck it, I don't need this, win this bag, and she bails out of the ring on her own. So, great start to it, shitty whole middle, good into it, and that's it.
What's interesting is that Vicky's swimsuit being tasteful was actually my wife's exact thoughts. And you're being a little harsh about the underneath the rope eliminations. If you've ever been in a Battle Royal, you realize that Battle Royals are ribs on you, and these females for having against swimsuits is the ultimate rib. And so eliminating yourself by any means possible is the number one objective if you're not winning the thing. So I have no issue with, and it was funny is the Bellas were the best. The Bellas would make no attempt, because they didn't want to injure themselves, and why the hell should they? It's a fucking Battle Royal. So these girls would do whatever they needed to do to get out of that ring, and that I gave them 5 stars every time they did it. Chris Jericho versus John Cena. Big Show came out. From Daniel's notes, John Cena won the match. They're building toward a John Cena Big Show confrontation at Money in the Bank, which is what I guess the whole purpose of Monday Night Raw is to build up confrontations. I felt uninspired by the whole match. Kev will probably come on here and tell me it was a good match. I wasn't really interested in it. It was fine, I guess. Big Show came out, building toward, like I said, a confrontation between these two guys at the pay-per-view. Cena's mission to prevent Big Show from winning the title, which Daniel went over earlier. I'm not really interested in any of this material, which was interesting because last year at this time, everyone was super excited going into Money in the Bank. Kev, what are your thoughts?
You know what? I might have been excited for this match, but as early as it went on, I just had a feeling that there was going to be something that just completely came in and fucked this up, and I wasn't disappointed in that. You had Big Show run in and interfere, completely rendered this match moot. which, by the way, Mama Kay corrected you on earlier when you said that the Battle Royal was mute. She was right on that. It is moot. And this was moot, and just made the whole show for me moot. There was now no point for it.
The Battle Royal was not worthy of having sound, thus it was mute. How dare Mama K correct me? How dare you? Tonight's edition of Raw, ultimately I give it a thumbs. I give it a thumbs down. You know what's interesting is that I felt like they actually tried to achieve things with tonight's edition of Raw. I just felt like it was incredibly ineffective. And ultimately the pay-per-view that they're building up for is SummerSlam with the Brock Lesnar Triple H match. And hopefully they are able to gain some steam and some interest into this match. But Money in the Bank, as of week 1, doesn't seem super interesting. I'm not sold on the whole Big Show, John Cena, prevention of the world title angle. And we've also been led through Money in the Bank to understand that who we believe going into is going to win the match usually doesn't win the match. I mean, last year we had Daniel Bryan and Alberto Del Rio winning when we expected other people. So, you know, what's interesting is that, yes, it's good every once in a while if you do that as a surprise, but then when you're trying to sell the pay-per-view, I think people ultimately buy because they know what they're going to get. And if you built up a logical contender and that the only way he can get a title shot is by winning the Money in the Bank, you don't tell this story every year, but you interject this story. And World Wrestling Entertainment's never had that story where the guy's been built up. They've always done surprises in Money in the Bank, and it's developed the pay-per-view that you have now. Kev, what were your thoughts overall on the show?
Overall on the show, I'm going to give it a thumbs in the middle. You know, you had some fairly good wrestling matches, like the triple threat match, the pole match for what wrestling you did have on there. That was pretty decent. And, you know, that was okay. Some of the talking points in the middle of the show were okay. I actually liked John Cena, the opening part of his promo. He set the fans on fire with all the Star Wars references there. That had to have been tough to memorize. So to be able to go out and just John Cena just being able to rattle that off the top of his head, I don't know if he practiced it or not. Even if he did practice it, props to him because that was pretty good. But you know that you had a whole lot of lowlights too, like the championship opportunity on a pole match that was rendered moot. The main event, which went nowhere. Sid Vicious was an absolute fail, you know, and so on, etc., and so forth.